On May 12, 2025, at approximately 6 o'clock a.m. EDT, a group of 59 white South Africans, primarily Afrikaners, arrived at Washington Dulles International Airport in Virginia as refugees, marking a contentious moment in U.S.-South Africa relations. SAS, on a U.S.-chartered flight, they represent the first wave of an estimated 500 Afrikaners expected to resettle under this policy. Prompted by a February 2025 executive order from President Donald Trump, the U.S. fast-tracked Afrikaner applications, citing alleged unjust racial discrimination in South Africa, particularly tied to land reform policies. Processed in under 3 months compared to years for most refugees, the group was welcomed by U.S. officials and media. They've been resettled in rural communities across Minnesota, Idaho, and California, with support from local churches and conservative NGOs. South Africa's government fiercely rejects claims of persecution, labeling the policy a politically driven misrepresentation of its democratic reforms. Critics, including Human Rights Watch and the UN Refugee Agency, condemn the move as discriminatory, arguing it prioritizes a relatively affluent group while suspending admissions for refugees from conflict zones like Syria and South Sudan. Posts from South African users like @SAYouTruth2025 call it a slap in the face to our nation's progress, highlighting South Africa's low violent crime rates against white farmers, 32 murders in 2024, per police data, comparable to black rural communities. Afrikaners, descendants of Dutch settlers, are part of South Africa's white minority, which holds 49% of the nation's wealth despite being 7% of the population. Supporters on X, such as @FreedomFarmerUS, praised the U.S. for saving families from land grabs, echoing unverified claims of targeted violence. However, South African police data shows no racial bias in farm attacks, with 60% of victims being black workers. Positive feedback from U.S. conservative groups like @Patriot Voice USA on X hails the policy as a bold stand for justice, though critics argue it inflates a narrative of white victimhood. As these refugees settle into new lives, the debate rages on. Is this humanitarian relief or a geopolitical maneuver? The Afrikaner exodus underscores deep questions about privilege, persecution, and the ethics of global refugee policies.